So with that, Rami, why don't you begin by giving us an overview of your extraordinary journey to Iraq? You're muted.
I arrived in Baghdad. I think last time we did a live stream, I was in Turkey, right? I was heading to Iraq. I was commuting by bus, whatever.
You were in Smyrna.
Smyrna,
as you referred to it.
Yes. And then I had flown from Constantinople to Baghdad. And as soon as I got to Baghdad, first of all, it's burning hot. People tell me that it's relatively cold right now at 35 degrees, and that the warmer days are at 48, 50 degrees. So I'm not used to it. It's burning hot. My hotel is on Sa'doun Street, and right next to Tahrir Square, which is Liberation Square. And that's the first time I arrived, my first day in Baghdad. I crossed the first bridge when you're in Tahrir Square, right? I think it's like Liberation Bridge as well. I'm not sure. And I started walking. I'm a huge walker. I do 35,000 steps a day. And I knew there was this green zone in that area, right? Mm-hmm. So I tend to rotate around areas that are of limited access, right? I mean, when I was in Panama, I made sure to walk the bridge that went over the Panama Canal. And I was like, well, how bad is that green zone, right? There's probably a way I could outsmart the security and just get into the green zone. So I start walking.
Could you just take a second and just describe to people what the green zone is?
Yeah. So the green zone is a heavily fortified part of Baghdad. It's really Baghdad, there's a Tigris River that cuts through all of Baghdad, basically. Baghdad is divided into two, the left bank and the right bank. Left bank, I think it's called Kar. And pretty much all over the southern left bank of Baghdad is the green zone. It's an area that is heavily fortified where many government institutions, houses of wealthy people are located. And it's guarded by the military. Basically, I only got to see one checkpoint, but supposedly there's multiple checkpoints once you cross the first one. So I tried to take the first left to enter the green zone. I got rejected. I was like, okay, I'll try the other one. Then I tried the other one. I walked a good 1 kilometer before being told to return back on my steps because there's absolutely no way to cross into the green zone. So I had wasted around 2 hours walking around. There's no possibility of entering the green zone without an approval. The next day, I was at the intersection, again, right around the green zone. And I was filming the intersection because it's where Haifa and Jaffa Street intersect. And I found it quite interesting as a Palestinian to see these two Palestinian cities listed as streets. So I start filming the intersection, and then I gently pan towards the green zone because it said Happy New Year 2025, and I found that quite funny. I got 6 Iraqi soldiers rush towards me and tell me not to touch my phone. And I was like, what's going on? I'm just filming an intersection. They're like, who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing? What are you filming? Show me your footage. And basically these soldiers are defending the green zone with their lives. Honestly, I don't know what kind of contract they have, but it was quite embarrassing that I cannot film a part of Baghdad. They made me delete the footage, and I had to play it dumb and be like, oh, I'm just a curious person. Why can't I film there? And they just told me that's the law. You can't film the green zone. So since then, I kind of lost interest of getting into the green zone because the risk is just so high. And I don't know, it's just I feel that as a tourist, as a foreigner, as a visitor, it's it should feel even worse for locals who cannot even enter a significant core area of Baghdad. You have bridges and tunnels crossing into the green zone, and they're not allowed to take the exit that enters it, right? So imagine you're in Montreal, you take the Champlain Bridge, you can't take the first exit. You have to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 more exits to enter the areas that are open to the public. So it's like the main arteries, they cross to the green zone, you can't enter it. And then I met this comrade. His name is Ali Hadid. We're going to see him in one of the videos. He gave me a little tour of between me and the green zone. There's the Tigris River, and we just walked past by it. And to take a picture of the green zone, we faked a selfie. And as you can see behind, there's like ministries and the U.S. embassies there, other types of institutions that are heavily protected. All happen to be.
Everything on the other side of the river in that photograph is the green zone, right?
Precisely,
and that's only a small part of it. So
yes, I mean, like it's from where if you look at the map, if you look at the map of Baghdad, actually maybe I could pull it up. All like basically anywhere from the first bridge down to, let me share my screen. It's I mean, I did not expect a zone to be this heavily guarded and protected. Okay, so can you guys see my screen? Oh no, at the stage. So pretty much this is the bridge here that I was talking about, that I walked past by. I walked this entire street up to here before being told to return back on my footsteps to basically this entire area is the green zone presidential complex. I think the U.S. embassy is here. So it probably cuts even deeper. I don't know where it ends exactly, but as you can see, this is Baghdad. This is the green zone, and we're all living around it, right? So
right.
I'm on Sadoun. This is where I kind of live my life, all around Sadoun Street to Inner Karada. And then over here you have Al Mansour and Yarmouk, which are pretty nice areas. But like we can go anywhere around here except the heart, which is the green zone. It was hard for me to imagine what the green zone would look like before coming here. I thought it was just 2-3 blocks, whatever. It's, I mean, the city.
It seemed to me when I was there a couple of years ago that it's a city within a city.
Yeah,
essentially.
And I had asked some couple of friends here, like, if I was on a lifelong mission to get into the green zone, what can I do? He's like, you need to fight for an invitation from someone there, from a high-profile person. And then I said, well, there's clearly hotels in the green zone. Like I could just book a night there. And my friend said that, well, basically the hotels, they have tunnels that cut through the green zone that bring you to your hotel. So even if you have, like, if your hotel's in the green zone, you can't really leave the compound of your hotel. You have to retake that same tunnel and get out of there. So you can't even get access to the area itself. You're just in a bubble. And my friend was telling me, we're going to see it in the video that my friend that I filmed with comrade Ali Hadid here in the video. He talks about how this is for a ruling class in Iraq that are also afraid of each other. They're afraid of the masses. They're afraid of the people, but they're also afraid of other corrupt people within Iraq. So that was this green zone thing really shook me. And another thing that stood out to me was, as a Palestinian, we often grew up a bit romanticizing Saddam a bit. I hate to say this, but I remember in 2003, I think it was quite normal to at least take the Iraqi side against the Americans. And of course we still do. But I mean, I remember up until maybe my university studies, I remember we were I was kind of apologizing for Saddam a bit. I know other comrades of mine in my Palestinian group, we were a bit forgiving of Saddam, but truly there's not a single person I ever met in Iraq that had anything good to say about Saddam. Obviously he did stupid things with invading Iran. And then I was trying to get information on whether, well, do the Iraqis at least support the war against Kuwait? Because I felt like this was a bit of a anti-imperial, anti-Western war, a bit, right? To claim back damages that were, I mean, Saddam was kind of tricked into fighting Iran on behalf of the Americans and the Saudis. But even Kuwait, there was no support for the Kuwait war. It led to sanctions, the oil for food program. It led to, I spoke to someone who was part of the PMF who told me that the war in Kuwait forced the Saudis, or legitimized the Saudis and the Emiratis' position that to defend themselves, they need to get closer to Israel. And that, I feel, is a strategic mistake as well. Mm-hmm. When I ask people, because 50% of Baghdad is Shia, and I was asking people, how can you guys fight against Iran on, like, as Shias, right? And the message that I was hearing from people is that under Saddam, there was no freedom of thought. Like, you really had to just abide by Saddam's orders of going to war and just fight, right? There was really no other option. Because that was I was very curious about how can Iraq go from hostile to Iran in the 1980s to some fruitful collaboration going on right now. And especially when you look at the Popular Mobilization Force coming to the defense of Iran, and it's 40 years later, right? So what has been going through since then? And then in terms of work that I've been doing, this is something I forgot to mention. As soon as you, and I'm sure, Dimitri, you're aware of this since you probably took that same road as me. As soon as you leave the airport of Baghdad on Airport Road, you see this statue, this monument, which is made out of the two vehicles that were destroyed, that were bombed by the Americans during the assassination of Qasem Soleimani and Al-Muhandis, the leader of the Kataib Hezbollah.
Kataib, just so people know, Kataib Hezbollah is, it's not the Lebanese resistance, it's the Iraqi resistance group. And the murder of Qasem Soleimani, Muhandis, happened as they were departing the Baghdad airport. Soleimani had come there on a mission of peace. He had been enticed to come to Iraq by overtures from the Americans, the Trump regime in the first administration. And he was murdered there along with several very important resistance figures from Iraq. So sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure people had their background.
I mean, I didn't know what, I mean, truly the moment I landed in Iraq, this is, I don't know if you remember the airport road, but this is probably like 7 minutes out of the airport by car. This is what you see. You still have, because you still see fragments of the impact on the walls on which the bombing happened. They kept it intact, and that just sets the tone for my Iraq trip, right? Like the second you see this, you know you're in for a ride, and all over the streets of Baghdad, all over my trip in Baghdad, all over Baghdad, sorry, you see posters. I don't know if it was like this when you were there in Iraq, but there's posters by the PMF, all with an anti-American sentiment, obviously, rightfully so. In this case,
could you just tell people what the PMF is?
The Popular Mobilization Force is it's a kind of a non-state actor. They're in some ways affiliated with the Iraqi government. I believe they're under the command of the Prime Minister's Office of Iraq, but it's not fully integrated as part of the Iraqi military. It consists of multiple Iraqi groups, mostly Shia groups, that were created to coordinate together to oppose ISIS, I believe in 2016. After the fall of Mosul, after ISIS, and these are all things that it's impossible to believe being here, but that ISIS was at the gate of Baghdad in Fallujah, barely 20 kilometers away from where I was. There were thousands of ISIS soldiers surrounding Baghdad, threatening to invade. And under a decree by the Ayatollah Sistani, Grand Ayatollah Sistani, he declared that the PMF must be created, where all able people should have military training and ready to counter the ISIS threat. And that's what happened. And PMF, in many ways, is what turned the tide and allowed us to defeat ISIS. PMF became, is still relatively present. The Popular Mobilization Force is still present in Iraq. You see their flags everywhere. There's 250,000 soldiers. That's their the number they declared. But beyond their soldiers, they have institutions, they have services, they have enterprise, they have civilian infrastructure a bit, right? Like engineers, civil engineers that are all part of the apparatus, which makes them very, very powerful. And when I spoke to, when I asked a couple of people here, right? Like, were you scared when ISIS was at the gates of Baghdad? They said, we didn't have a choice but to get training. So literally everyone that is of a similar age of me has military training, has a gun at home, and is willing to defend their country. And dozens of people I spoke to have martyrs in their family that died fighting America's proxy, ISIS. So this was one of the images that I showed of these types of PMF propaganda. I don't know what's the best word to use. But there's also multiple images honoring Qasem Soleimani, Al-Muhandis, the Ayatollah Khamenei.
This is something I found really odd about Iraq. I was very surprised because on the one hand, you see the green zone, and your first thought is this is an occupied country. It's a U.S. occupied country. And there are other, as you well know, Rami, other U.S. military installations in Iraq. But at the same time, there are signs everywhere of open defiance of the United States and hostility towards the United States. So it's a strange kind of anemic occupation that does definitely constrain the sovereignty of the country to a large degree, but it isn't the kind of full-blown occupation you see in other parts of West Asia either. It's kind of like a hybrid of sovereignty and occupation. That's the best way I think I can describe it.
I think, and I interviewed someone who probably will answer this better than me, but I truly don't think anyone is able to occupy the soul of the Iraqi people. They've changed the constitution. They're playing these little games. They're trying to control the oil revenues and the way their oil money is being invested in civil infrastructure. But you talk to anyone in the streets. I'll show you guys some footage. There's no way truly to colonize the soul of the Iraqi people. And especially now, after they've endured Saddam, they've endured the American occupation, the fight against ISIS. This is not to romanticize the Iraqi people, but you'll need to throw a lot more at them to make the Iraqi people fall and to submit to humiliation. And there's many reasons why this will never happen as well. When you look historically, Iraq is the land of Karbala and Najaf, where Imam Hussein, till his last breath, fought against humiliation, fought against surrendering to basically bullies. So then I think on Friday, I saw that they were like setting up these lights and everything at Tahrir Square. I was told it was a Quran recitation, so I was like, oh, I'll check it out, but I didn't really feel enthusiastic about it. You know what I mean? It's just cultural, right? And I get there, there's just flags of Iran everywhere, and it's an event to commemorate the martyrs and
of Iran or Iraq?
Iraq and Iran.
Okay, if you have footage, I imagine. Wow, so that's an independent square in the open air, is that right?
Yes.
How many
And
people would you estimate were there, Rami?
maybe 1,000 people,
Mhm.
maybe
And so
more.
in just this is just steps away from the green zone
Yes,
and
this is
the CIA and MI6 and the embassy, and they're expressing solidarity with Iran. That's interesting.
100%. And I was just minding my own business, walking around, and as soon as I started seeing this, I started recording people and trying to get some interviews. Um, I was not really. I mean, I'll publish this report very soon, but I was interviewing people, and it was hard for me to get to speak to members of the PMF, to speak to um, soldiers for many reasons. One of them is because generally soldiers, there's a chain of command, and they cannot speak freely about what they do, and that just shows military discipline, and I respect that, of course. But I was not really satisfied with the interviews that I was getting, and a lot of people were wary of speaking, rightfully so. And as soon as the event was closing, my comrade that I was with, his name is Muslim, he's like, "Oh, I know this guy. There's Abu Dia al-Sariri, al-Sariri, sorry. He's right there. Let's try to get an interview." And he is a regional leader of the Popular Mobilization Force. And I could tell that some people were a bit wary of, because I have a bit of an accent when I speak Arabic. I don't conjugate verbs, and I misgender words a lot. But the guy was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll interview you." And then he kept coming and going, and I was like, "Well, maybe he's just trying to say no and being discreet about this." And after a bit of time, we did our interview. I asked him 2 questions. The first question that I had was, "What would you tell people who say that the resistance has been weakened?" He gave a very good answer at that.
Mhm.
I'll publish a report and make sure that I have a proper translation for you guys. The second question that I asked him was, what's your opinion, or can you share comments about the ongoing negotiations with Iran and the United States? So, this will come shortly in my report.
I
And
look forward to that. You said he's a leader. Is he military or is he civilian leader of the Popular Mobilization Forces?
He started off as a security guard for high-profile PMF members. I think, well, it's hard to. At the end of the day, PMF is a military group, right?
Mhm.
It's partially affiliated with political organizations, but it's military at its essence. But I believe that right now he's more of a spokesperson per se than
Mhm.
than um, than an active combatant.
So what else do you have for us?
So, and I was having some. I was having some issues, kind of networking around. My circle of friends was getting kind of dried out of like things to do, and I decided to send a message to Muntadar al-Zaidi. And for those who don't know, he's the man who threw a shoe at George Bush and said, "This is a farewell kiss of the Iraqi people." And and I messaged him on Twitter, and he just answered me, "Hello, dear brother." Like, I asked him, like, "Hey, I'm trying to interview." His answer was just, "Hello, dear brother." And I commented again, like, "Dude, check your DMs." He checked his DM, and he gave me his WhatsApp number. We started talking, and he's like, "All right, come over to my place tomorrow. You mentioned it. He's going to show up." That's right. So on Twitter, he always shows up whenever someone mentions his name. And I went to his house, and I ended up interviewing him.
It's the dude in the middle.
Dude in the middle, Muntadar al-Zaiti, the legend himself. The guy on the right is Comrade Ali Hadid, he's a member of the Communist Party of Iraq, who helped me translate the interview. He also gave me a tour of the outside of the green zone, and he shared great commentary. But there's a story about Muntada al-Zaidi I have to share. This is filmed, by the way. We're going to publish this report. As soon as I get there, I just sit on the chair, and then Comrade Ali Hadid's like, dude, there's an AK-47 under your seat. And then I'm like, the hell are you saying, dude? You know, like.
So was there an AK-47 under your seat?
A peek, there's an AK-47 under my seat. Okay, but the thing is, I'm impressed by two things here. First one is, how did you notice this so quickly? Right, like this is we're 2 seconds into the room. I just noticed like the huge Iraqi flag and the spotlights on the ceiling. He's like, dude, there's an AK-47 under your seat. Yes, and the shirt that I'm suing the person who said I love that shirt. It's mine. I bought it from former fighters of the Colombian guerrillas who took the route of who honored the peace agreement and pivoted into making clothes. But anyways, so this guy had an AK-47 under his seat. I interviewed him. He's a bit of a divisive figure among supporters of the resistance, since he supports the Sadr movement, or is much more supportive of that than of the let's just say pro-Iran side. And then the same night, I'm interested in Shia culture, Shia history, Shia stories. My friend insisted that I go to the. These are two. Each dome is for one of the imams, and it's north of Baghdad. There's 12 imams in Shia Islam, or in the 12er Shia Islam, that are kind of honored, and two of them is Imam al-Jafar and Imam, I forgot the name. But anyway, so that was quite interesting, quite beautiful. And then finally, this is fresh from today. See, we're the same dress shirt, right? You see me here, same dress shirt. This was taken barely like 5 hours ago.
Did you only take one dress shirt to Iraq with you, by the way?
I took 3, but I should buy more.
Are they all the same?
This one is no. There's one with the Palestine map over here. And
okay.
Yeah.
You mixed it up a little bit. That's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
And then this is Comrade Raed Fahmy, who's the leader of the Communist Party of Iraq and former Minister of Science and Technology. And he spoke to me a lot about the American occupation of Iraq, the ongoing American occupation of Iraq. So that's my work over the past few days here in Iraq.